So hello all of you. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Learn with Pam. So in this video, we are going to discuss about some interview questions for Oracle PLSQL developer. So there are top 60 questions which I have collected. So which might be for freshers as well as for experienced persons. So in this video, we will cover top 20 questions. So those questions will be basic questions and remaining 40 questions in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned. So the first question is, what is difference between PLSQL and SQL? So this is very important question. So execution. So first we'll try to differentiate based on the execution. So in execution about SQL, the SQL command at a time, single SQL command takes place at a time in SQL. Then in PLSQL there is a block of code. So we write the block of code in begin and end block. So this is the basic difference when you talk about execution. Next we have application. So source of data to be displayed is the application of SQL, and in PLSQL application created by the data acquired by SQL. Then structures include DDL, DML based queries and commands. So in SQL we use DDL, that is data definition language commands, then data manipulation language commands, and in PLSQL which includes procedures, functions, triggers, etc. Then recommended while. So SQL is recommended for performing the crude operations on data, and PLSQL is recommended creating applications to display data obtained using SQL. Then next, compatibility with each other. So SQL can be embedded into PLSQL, but PLSQL cannot be embedded in the SQL. So this is basic difference in SQL and PLSQL. Now second question, what is SQL, and also describe the types of SQL statements. So SQL stands for structured query language. SQL is a language used to communicate with server to access, manipulate and control the data. Then there are different five types of SQL statements. Those are first DRL. DRL stands for data retrieval language, which has command called as select. So by select command we can retrieve the expected data from the database. Next we have DML command. So DML stands for data manipulation languages. So we can do the operations like delete, update and insert. So those operations can be done in this DML command. Then we have data definition language, that is DDL. So for defining the structure of table or any database object, we use this DDL command, that is data definition language. Then transaction control statements, so TCL, that is TCL. So transaction control statements, the commands which are included are commit, save point, and rollback. So these are the commands which are used in the transaction control statements. Next we have DCL. So DCL is data control language. The commands which are used in this DCL are grant and revoke. So this is about SQL and different types of SQL statements. Next, what is an alias in SQL statements? So alias is user defined alternate name given to the column or table. So by default, column alias headings appear in the uppercase. For example, we can see here, select EMP name. So I want to fetch employee name, that is EMP name, which is column present in the table as. So this is the alternate name which I have given, that is user defined name. So for simplicity or for understanding purpose, we are giving alternate name, which is meaningful name, so that when you are fetching data, you can understand what exactly data is there. So select EMP name, which is present in the employees table as. So this is alias name, that is name. So this is about alias. Next we have, what is a literal. So give an example of where it can be used. So literal is a string that can contain a character, a number, a date that is included in the select list, and this is not a column name or column alias. For example, select last name. I am concatenating it with this particular string, that is a. Again, it is concatenated with the job ID as. So this is alias name EMP details from employee table. So let's take a simple example, one more example. So I want to select this string, I want to print this particular string, that is hello world, from dual. Again, the dual is dummy table. So again, it is table which is present in user sys. So for doing any expressions or doing printing any this string values or printing any functions, we are using this dual table. So we'll come back to this dual table in the upcoming slides. So select hello world. I want to print this only hello world. So that's why I'm using this dual table. So in this case, literal. So string literal, it will print hello world. Next, again, we are concatenating the two strings. So here, hello. This hello is a single string. It is concatenated with world. Again, the output will be hello world. So this is the basically literals. So these are the examples of the literal. So you can concatenate and you can print the desired string of your table. Next, what is difference between SQL and ISQL plus? So SQL is a language, ISQL plus is an environment. Then SQL, the character and date column headings are left justified and number column headings are right justified. And in ISQL plus, default headings justification is in the center. Then in SQL, it cannot be abbreviated or it cannot be written in the short forms. Then in ISQL plus, it can be abbreviated. Next, SQL does not have a continuation character. In ISQL Plus has a dash as a continuation character if the command is longer than one line. And in SQL, use functions to perform some formattings. And in ISQL Plus, use commands to format the data. Next, question number 6. Define the order of precedence used in executing SQL statements. So see the order of execution. So first execution will be arithmetic operators like multiplication, divide, plus, minus. Then we have second concatenation operator. So you can see the symbol of concatenation operator. Next we have comparison operators like less than, greater than. Then we have not, null is not null, or like operator, like not operator, in operator. So these are the operators. This is next precedence. Next we have fifth precedent, that is between or not between. Next, logical condition, that is not condition, is the next precedence. Then next we have and condition, and last or logical condition. So this is the precedence of executing the SQL statements. Next, question number 7 we have, what are the SQL functions and describe in brief different types of SQL functions. So basically the SQL functions are very powerful feature of SQL. SQL functions can take arguments but always return some value. There are two distinct type of SQL functions. So those are single row function and multiple row function. So if you talk about single row function, again these single row functions are going to return a single value for each row. So first we have string or character function. So in string or character function we have like upper, lower, init cap, or length. Also we have in string, substring, concatenate. So likewise, different functions are there. So if you want to learn more about these functions, you can watch my previous video. So I have added the link in the description box. You can get the video in the playlist. So the video name is built-in functions. So all these functions in detail come, you will understand in that video. So number function. So number function is like we have round function, then we have abs function, then we have greatest, list function, mod function, reminder function, log function. So likewise different math functions are there. Then date function. So date function we have like months between, last day, next day, extract. So likewise the date functions are there. Then again we have miscellaneous function in single row. So miscellaneous functions or other functions like we have nvl function, nvl2, then null if, PLSQL function. So again, these functions are there. If you want to learn in detail, you can watch my video on built-in functions. Next, multiple row function. Now these functions include group or aggregate function. So group or aggregate function include min, maximum or max, then average, sum. So likewise, aggregate function or group functions are there. So next, question number 8, explain the character, number, and date function in detail. So character function. So as I talked in the previous video, character or string function. In this, it accepts the character as input and return both character and numeric value. So let's take an example. So if I want to calculate, if I want to know the length of character or length of string, we use length function. So in this length function, the function will return the numeric value. So this is the example of the numeric value. Or if I want to convert the character or string into uppercase, so I will use the function called as upper. It will convert the string or character into the character that is in the uppercase. So this is the example of accepting the character and converting into the character as well as into the numbers. Next, we have number function. So number function accepts the numeric input and returns the numeric value. So as you talked in the previous video, sorry, in the previous slide, that numeric functions, like let's take an example. We have round function. So again, if you want to round up the value, again it will take input as an expression or the numeric value, and it will return out the again same numeric value which will be in the rounded format. Next, we have date function. So in the date function operates on null values of date data type. Sorry, operates on the values of date data type. So basically, date functions like we have next month, month between, or we have next day, last day. So these are the functions. So it works only on the date data type. So this was about character, number, and date functions. So question number 9, what is dual table? So a dual table is owned by the user called as SYS and can be accessed by the all users. It contains one column that is dummy and one row with value as X. So basically it is owned by the SYS user and it has one column called as dummy and it has one row whose value is X. Then what are the uses? So the uses of dummy table is for testing expression, selecting constants, then pseudo column queries like sysdate, row num, then row ID. So those are the pseudo columns. Then conditional logic, then functional testing, function testing, sequence testing, checking permissions, and temporary results. So these are the basic uses of dual table. Next we have explain the conversion functions in detail. So conversion functions convert the value from one data type to the another data type. So conversion functions are of two types, that is implicit data type conversion and explicit data type conversion. So implicit data type conversion, in this the Oracle will internally convert the data types into another data types. So no need to manually write the conversion. And in explicit data type conversion, we have to manually convert the data type from one data type to the another data type. So let's take an example of explicit conversions. So select. So I am converting this string into date. So date string. So date value will be converted into the date. So the format will be specified here. So that is date format. So whatever the format you are interested, you can write date format and you can write the string value over it. All the value will be converted into the date. Next, if you want to convert the number, that is to number. If you want to convert the character column to number, you can use the function called as to number. So likewise, you can convert the data type. Next, if you want to convert into the character, suppose the date column is present, then you can easily convert this into the character. So date column is written here and the date format, that is whatever the format which is mentioned, that format you can write it. So this is how the data types can be converted. So that is explicit data type conversion and implicit data type conversions. Next, we have described different types of general functions used in SQL. So we talked in the previous slide also regarding general or miscellaneous functions. So let's discuss them in detail. So annual function. Annual function is that is one expression will be the column and other expression will be the second expression will be the value. So if column or first expression is null, it will replace by the second expression whatever the value you are specifying. So it converts the null value into not null value. Again in annual 2 it has three expressions. One is column, second value, and third expression again it will be the value. So if the column value is null, it will take the third expression. If column value is not null, it will take the second expression. Next, null if. So null if it will convert into the null values if the two expressions. So null if takes the two expressions or two arguments. If the two arguments are same, it will convert into the null values. If it is not same, then it will take the first expression or the first argument as a result. Then coalesce function. So coalesce function will take n number of arguments and it will fetch only first not null value. So suppose if we have the series of not null and null values, so it will select from left hand side and it will check which value is not null and it will fetch the not null value in this coalesce function. And last we have conditional expression. So these are the general functions. If you want to learn in detail about general functions, again we had created a video, you can get in the link in the description box. Next question we have, what is the difference between count star, count expression and count distinct expression? So basically count star will return the number of rows in a table including duplicate rows and rows containing the null values. So count star will count all the rows even though those rows are duplicate, even though the rows are null. So in any of the columns. Next we have count expression. So this returns the number of non-null values in the column identified by the expression. So this will uniquely look to the not null expressions or not null values from the table, and it will return all the not null values. It will consider the duplicate values also. Now last is distinct expression. So what is this distinct expression? So in this distinct expression, it will count only the unique values. It will not consider null values as well as it will not consider the duplicate values. Distinct means it will count not null values, then not duplicate non-duplicate values, and it will return the result. So this is about distinct, count and count expression. Next question number 13 is, what is subquery and describe its types? So a subquery is a select statement that is embedded in a clause of another select statement. So there are different types of subqueries, that is single row subquery and multiple row subquery. So this is a typical example of single row subquery. You can see select column name from table name where column name is equal to. So this is the subquery. You can see this is the subquery. So what it returns is select max some column name we have to specify from another table. So it will return a single function. A single value. So that's why it is called as single row subquery. So the subquery which is going to return a single value, that is called as single row subquery. Now multiple row subquery. This case, select column name from table name where column in. So we are using the in operator because this subquery is going to return the multiple values. So that's why the in operator is used. So select another column from another table where condition. So this is multiple row subquery. So this query is going to return multiple values. So that's why the in operator is used. So we cannot use here is equal to or less than or greater than, as this subquery is going to return multiple values. So that's why it is called as multiple row subquery. Next question number 14 we have, what is the difference between any and all operators? So any operator compares value to each value returned by the subquery. So in another way, we have mentioned here, the condition is true if the comparison holds true for at least one value in the set. So let us take an example. We have two columns, teachers and students. So from these two tables, we have written the query that is select star from teachers. So I want to fetch all the records from this table teachers, where age is equal to any into bracket select age from students. So it will look at the age from the student table and it will return the result if at all any one of the value is matching. So any means it says that the condition is true if the comparison holds true for at least one value. From this column, if you are getting at least one value which is matching, then it will return the value. So in this case, where age is equal to any value from the select age from the students. From this student, if at all the age is matching, so you can see the output is Peter and age is 32. So you can see here age from column teachers is 32 and similarly the age from students 32 is present. So that's why it is returning the single value. So any one value is matching. So it is saying that the condition is true and it is returning the from the subquery we are getting the output age, that is 32. So that's why it is fetching the result as Peter and age is 32. So likewise, what is the all operator? So the all operator compares value to every value returned by the subquery. Or in other words, we can say that the condition is true only if the comparison holds true for all the values. So this is very important. So if the condition is only when all the values holds true in the result set. So we can see the query as select employee ID, comma salary from employees where salary should be greater than all the salary values from the particular table. That is select salary from employees, that is same table where department ID is 10. So all the employees who are present in the department IDs, their salary should be less than the salary of the employee which you are interested. So select employee ID and salary from employees table where salary should be greater for these employees. The employees which I want to fetch, those employees salary should be always greater than all the employees who are present in the department ID of 10. So this is how how we are using the all operator. So I hope this part is pretty much clear about all and any operator. So this was the question regarding difference between any and all operator. Then question number 15 we have what is merge statement. So the merge statement inserts or updates row in a one table using the data from another table. It is useful in data warehousing applications. So let us take an example. So you can see the chart. So this is the source table and this is the target table. So let's run the query. Let's look at the query. So merge into. So let's see the syntax. So merge into employees underscore target. So this is the target table in which we are interested to fetch the values from the source table using the employees underscore source. That is S alias name we are using S. And in this case, alias name in the target table we are using E. So we are fetching the values into the target table E using the employee source table that is S alias name on. So we are joining the table based on the common column that is employee ID. So in the both the tables employee ID is the common column when matched. So we are using the case statement. So when the condition is matching, then update set e dot cell. So e dot cell is from the target table. So e dot cell is equal to s dot cell means all the values from the source table are fetched or it is replaced to the e dot cell. When the condition is not matched or when it is not matching, then insert what we are inserting employee ID and salary into this target table values will be s dot employee ID and s dot salary. So from the source table or we can say insert we are inserting the employee ID and salary. The values will be s dot employee ID. So S stands for source table. So all the source table values will be added into this employee ID and S dot salary will be added in the salary. So this is how the matching and not matching records we are we are inserting the values from the other table. So you can see in this table, so this is the source table. In the source table, not match rows that need to be inserted. So these are the not matching rows. So all the values are inserted from the target table. Likewise, matched rows that need to be updated. So this section is matching. So that why the values are taken from the target table and not matched rows by the source that need to be deleted. So again, this would be deleted after the copying or after merging the source table. So this is how merge statement works. Next, what is the difference between verify and feedback command? So the verify command is use verify command to confirm the changes in the SQL statement, that is old and new values defined with the set verify on or off. Then in feedback command displays the number of records returned by the query. Next question number 17 is what is the use of double ampersand in the SQL queries and give an example. So use of double ampersand if you want to reuse the variables without variable value without prompting the user each time. So let's take an example. So accept department ID, that is number is the data type, prompt. So this will be the message on the console that is enter department ID. So from user the department ID will be taken. So and select employee ID comma first name last name from employees table where department ID is equal to. So and ampersand we are using here. So ampersand department ID. So department ID which is entered by the user, that you entered department ID is taken over here. and the data is fetched. So this is how the ampersand is used. So these variables are prompted for the user input at runtime, allowing users to enter the values that are then used in the SQL statements. So this is significance of double ampersand. Next, we have what are the joins and how many types of joins are there. So in Oracle 8i and prior, we have equijoin, and in SQL, we have natural or inner join. Then outer join, then here we can see the left outer join, right outer join, and full outer join. We'll discuss in detail about these different types in the next slide. Then we have self join. Here we have join on clause. Then non-equi join. In SQL we have join using clause. Then Cartesian products, and here only the name is changed, that is cross join. So only the names has been changed in Oracle 8i and prior version, and in SQL 1999 9i version the names are different. So let us discuss them in detail in the next question. So explain all joins in the Oracle. So what are the different joins? So we have different joins like Cartesian join or cross join, equi join, non-equi join, outer join, and self join. Let me explain you in the next slide. So first, cross join. So it combines every row from the first table with every row from the second table, creating the Cartesian product. So in this cross join, we have set of values from first and second table. Then natural join. Automatically it joins tables based on columns with the same name, eliminating the need to specify the join condition explicitly. So without explicitly eliminating, without adding the join condition, we can fetch the natural join. Then join with using clause specifies a list of columns shared by the both tables to be used for the join, simplifying the join condition. Then join with on clause specifies a condition explicitly using on keyword to define the relationship between the tables in the join operation. Then left outer join returns all the rows from the left table and matching rows from the right table. That is, non-matching rows from the right table contains null values. Likewise, right outer join all the rows from the right table and matching rows from the left table will be coming. Then non-matching rows from the left table contains null values. Then last we have full outer join. So returns all the rows when there is a match in either left or right table. Non-matching rows from the both the tables contains null values in the columns from the table with no match. So all the joins we had also covered in detail with examples and queries in our videos. You will get the link in the description box. You can watch if you want to learn in more detail about the joins. You can watch our video on joins. Next question, last question we have. PLSQL, explain all joins used in Oracle 9i and later version. So all these joins we have covered in the previous slide. That is cross join, natural join, join with using clause, join with on clause, left, right, and full outer join. So I hope this part is pretty much clear. So we had covered basic 20 questions which might ask in your PL interview questions. So again we have left with 40 more interview questions which might be for again for freshers as well as for the experienced persons. So stay tuned. We'll continue with the next video. In the next video, we'll cover the remaining questions. So that's all for this video. Thank you all of you. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell icon. So thank you all and have a wonderful day.